A few years ago, you guys saw me build a DIY off-grid trunk, and in true Robbie fashion, I used what I had, what I could afford, and I made the best thing possible. And honestly, at the time, it was perfect. It fit exactly what I needed it to be. Aside from being big and clunky and somewhat disorganized, the fact that the solar panel didn't fit in the box, it didn't compact very well, but it was good in case of emergencies, if I needed to charge my phone or camera batteries. Now I have this, and you guys saw me install this Iceco fridge a couple videos ago, and while it's super efficient, when I'm spending a week out here, my little battery box just isn't sufficient. So I upgraded. So this is the Jackery Explorer 1000 Plus. This is a brand new unit from Jackery. This thing is so sick. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have been waiting years to get my hands on a Jackery. I feel like when it comes to solar generators like that realm, Jackery is like what I call a solar generator. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna get a Jackery. To me, they're just like the OGs. They've been around for a long time. You can instantly see why this is just a way better upgrade than the frickin' box I was using. It came with this little bag, which has a wall charger and also like a 12-volt car charger, which is super nice. It has the little USB inverter section here. It has a 2000 watt, 120 volt inverter here, the DC inverter up top, and it has a light which actually already came in handy when we were testing this thing this weekend. Like moving it from one location to the next in the dark, you don't need a phone flash. You literally just press the light button on the front of the Jackery and walk around with it. I didn't see why that would be useful, and I instantly found it useful, which is sweet. And there's no cables except for what you plug into it. So these things, for those of you guys that don't know real quick, the inverters are all built in and they're always off. So if you like press this button, it turns on the AC inverter, you hear like a fan come on. I doubt you guys can even hear it, to be honest. And they're all individual, so you can run just the 120s, you can run the USB-C, you can run the 12 volt. I mean, you can run them all at the same time if you really wanted to murder this thing. And of course, it's got a sick little screen, so you can see what you're using and what you're putting into it. So you can kind of keep track and know exactly what you're doing with it, which is really, really cool. And hands down, one of the coolest features about this thing is it has an app. You can view what the Jackery's at. You can obviously see the input and output if you had it charging or if you were using it. And it is extremely fast to respond. And I think one of the coolest and actual reasons why I got this one is because it's like a medium size. It's not overkill, it's not the 2000, but you can buy these little battery expansion things that stack on here. So if I ever wanted to get more use out of it, I don't have to buy a whole new Jackery. I can buy just like the little expansion battery, and I can get this thing up to 5 kilowatt hours, which is crazy. Based on my math, this should be able to run my fridge and like charge a couple phones and whatever, support my needs for 5 days without even charging it, dude. Which is like crazy. That just means 1 in 5 days I need sun so I can charge this bad boy up, because, you know, we didn't stop here. We got some panels too. This is a magnet, okay? It's just dummy proof. You can walk around with a little handle, super cool. Velcro. Velcro. The simplicity kills me. I just love it. And it packs up literally that fast. This dude also looks like it came with a pouch with some stuff, which I imagine, oh, like USB-C and a USB, so you could, I guess, just charge your phone like straight off this, which now that I'm looking around, yeah, it says compatible with phones and tablets, but I thought that meant the app, because there's like an app for this. So this is the Jackery Wasaga 100. It's a 100 watt solar panel, and we actually went ahead and got 2 of them, so we have 200 watts of solar total. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link for all this stuff down below for you guys to check out Jackery. This is something I'm actually like the most excited about in a long time. Like, this is just a sick setup. They're actually having a huge sale right now, which is super nice. The timing of this video with that sale, so go on Jackery's website and check everything out. This one might be a little overkill. I did run it through some testing and we have some stuff to run it through, but first things first, we need to build a mount for this dude. If you guys haven't already seen, this is the new floor that I put in when we installed this Iceco fridge and slide. So this guy has a nice slide underneath it. And so for a mount for this thing, it doesn't have to be crazy. I want something simple, accessible, and that is not gonna explode. And I fully understand why you wouldn't build a mount and you could just have it pop around all over the place, but if you guys know me at all, you know this is an opportunity to build some stuff, and well, I'm gonna build some stuff. So for this, I do have an idea. I'm not entirely sure how good it's gonna work out. Ooh, I got plenty of room. Thankfully, I still have some plywood and some of the vinyl carpet pieces that I used when we built the floor laying around, so I can pretty much just jump right into this. That puts this thing at its like almost peak. So I got these two pieces cut up. The longer one actually goes up and down. And then this is gonna go across the top. Okay, just imagine like that. That gives room for the solar panels to slide in and out from underneath that little cubby. It's deep enough back that when I open the fridge, it has tons of room for clearance. Like it's not in the way of the door at all. So we started making progress with it. Obviously, when the fridge goes out all the way, it has tons of clearance, but sometimes you want to just give it that little quick half open. I wanted to make sure that it clears wherever someone decides to open it. These are looking beautiful. Got the back sides of them all painted up. I'm gonna do basically the same thing that you guys saw me doing here, where anything that's not getting covered by the carpet is gonna get painted black, so that when you take the lid off, for example, you don't really see that this is a wood lip. And like I said, I do have some extra vinyl still laying around, but I think I wanna get this thing built up before I wrap it, just so I can, you know, make all the edges and all the corners as clean as possible. So let's all remember, I am not a carpenter. Please do not judge my carpentry skills. But since we're wrapping this later, we can pretty much just start hammering out the build. Now we just gotta figure out how to mount this to here. If you guys are regular viewers of the channel, watching me cut up pieces of aluminum and drill holes is nothing new. And you guys know just as well as I do that once you start doing something, even if it's uncomfortable at first, once you learn just how easy it is, you kind of just wing it and you just believe that you can. But something that I couldn't wing and I also couldn't wrap my head around at first was how the solar energy, all the kilowatts, watts, amps, all that actually worked. Dude, these look perfect. I made these little C-channel rails, right? Just for extra strength. And they're gonna just run the length of the bottom side of this, just because like this Jackery's not that heavy, but it's pretty freaking heavy to go on just a dinky little sheet of plywood. And these little C-channels just happen to fit an M8 nut perfectly. And so since I couldn't wrap my head around it, I was doing a ton of research on how this stuff all works. And I came across a company called Shop Solar, and they actually have a course. It's like a little solar mini course. Because when you go on these sites for solar generators and stuff, they give you estimates on how long it'll run a fridge, but you can actually do math based on your own products, which is super cool. So I reached out to them and I actually have a discount code if you guys are trying to understand solar a bit better. You guys can use the link in the description down below, use the code Robbie50, and it actually saves you 50% off their little mini course. It actually taught me some stuff, so I'm sure it'll teach you guys some stuff. We're gonna hit it with an instant test. No, since we're doing a test, put the fridge here just cause, why not? Okay, fridge closed. Dude, this looks so sick. But the main thing is, half open, clears. So functionality wise, this is exactly what I'm looking for. There's just one little problem, which is that no matter what gauge of metal I use to do this, it's gonna wanna wiggle like that. Now mind you, this isn't bolted to the floor. This is not completely tight, but it's gonna happen. I'm just trying to create it in like a weird way because I really wanna keep this slot open right here for the solar panels, because normally I load this thing max full when I go camping and nothing sits there because it's just a weird space. And if I just go buy one of those racks that they sell that like goes across the whole back of the Jeep, I also eliminate a ton of storage right here where I could just stack vertically, where then I have to work around a shelf. And so in hopes of keeping this as clean as possible, I went out and I picked up this piece of steel right here, which is a lot thicker and a lot more solid than the aluminum that I have been using so far. And hopefully I can hide a little stiffening bracket that goes over to my hard top to dial this all in. So since once we had the weight of the Jackery on there, it did wiggle a little bit, I actually went ahead and I cut up a 90 to stuff on the inside of this corner to help add just a little bit of rigidity to this corner. The fact that these M8 nuts fit inside this C-channel is literally life-saving. Perfect. It just felt like it was still missing something. I was looking at my DIY tailgate table and an idea spawned from how I hid this cutting board underneath there. these C-channels I have are the exact size for this plywood by complete fluke.
That's good news.
We're gonna make it just a little bit cooler. You saw when I built the trunk floor, I actually picked up a router, and apparently I'm a big router guy now. I don't really know how to explain to you what it is I'm doing, but I'm gonna show you here in a minute. I'm honestly pretty impressed with the fact that I thought of this and also pulled it off. Honestly, I can't tell if this is just a really good idea or if I'm just stoked that like I finally found a way to kind of spice this up a little bit. I added this little dude, and then I did not know how to even explain this to you guys. I think I just have to show you. That's the height of the fridge, so we have to go within that space. I'm gonna put one of these little C-channels here. The other C-channel goes here. This is the part right here that I'm super proud of. So this little C-channel fits perfectly around the plywood that I have. And I drilled 2 holes. I drilled 3 because I f***ed it up the first time. But 2 holes, 1 on each end. And you guys know that nuts fit just inside of this channel. So 2 nuts inside this channel, 1 on either end. And then obviously I'm just gonna go ahead and bolt it through the wood into the nut. The only thing I have to do is make sure that the bolt, when it comes through, doesn't go any longer than the nut. This should work nicely with my little groove here. So if it goes like this, for example, now it won't go any farther forward because this nut is the width of this little notch. There's a notch at each end. And so it won't go forwards. And when you slide the slide out, it stops right there when that nut hits. And then when you slide the slide back in, it stops in when both nuts hit. So pretty much it's a self-contained drawer slide. So that when inevitably everybody that's camping with me decides to use the Jackery to charge their phones, we can pull the drawer out and kind of nicely have the phones laid out there and the cords running in instead of having the cords and phones just everywhere. Check this guy out. I actually made it so that he'll go in that hole and then he'll sneak up underneath from the back. No one will ever see that because there's seat belts and pillars and stuff going on. And it's honestly not in the way. Like this, you guys know if you have a Jeep, right here is like a nice little storage compartment behind the seat. You could put like a soft bag or whatever, and that is far enough back that it's completely out of the way. And since I was happy with my little design, I went ahead and drilled a hole for it. Now I actually did try to just run that bar, but I worry that going over bumps and stuff that actually might bend over time. I like having the little aluminum triangle up to kind of support some of the weight, and then having this little crossbar there basically just to keep it from shifting side to side. And so once that was all painted up, it was time for some vinyl.
The roll I had actually wasn't enough to get it across the whole thing, so I'm using 2 sections just to use up what I have from when I did the trunk. And I have to either choose to have the seam up here, which you see it's already touching the bottom, so the seam could be kind of anywhere, or I do the top in one piece and I have the seam on the side because it'll sit in the Jeep like this. And honestly, I think I'm gonna do it this way. And I'm gonna put this seam just over the bend here.
Honestly, it sits so like high in the Jeep. When I'm standing looking at it with my own eyes, it's like eye level. So we'll put the weird part at the top.
Dude, this came out so well.
Favorite part? Check this out. So this is the top.
You guys saw that I drilled these tiny little holes here earlier to put the back of my riv nuts in. And I actually just cut the fabric out of here. I left it on the top. Look at that, dude. Look how clean that comes on a finish. A little bit of glue here. I'm just letting this dry a little bit more. I'm gonna try and get it off. That looks so good. And honestly, as for this line, it being on the top, I really don't think that you'll notice when you look in. If you guys do anything like this, please use this 3M Super 77. This is amazing. This is what I've used every time I've ever done anything like this. I ran out of this on like just the last few sprays, and I used some regular trim adhesive. It was dog water, dude. It did not work. I'm very lucky that I made it as far as I did with the Super 77, because that could have botched the whole project. But it looks great. Everything came out nicely. My new little support bar painted up nice and black. Now we just gotta get this stuff together. Just a friendly reminder, please just don't cut towards yourself like this. Because one broken knife blade and 6 stitches later, I'm here to remind you that it is the dumbest things that get you. I was like 99.9% done. I was making the final cut and I was just tired. I was being an idiot. I was cutting towards myself. Then the blade broke, because X-Acto blades break because they don't know how to make them strong. It went right through the pantaloons. Thankfully I stripped them off real quick before they got covered in blood. And yeah, had to get stitches last night, and that was not fun. So this is the first time in a long time I've gotten hurt doing something, so I just want to take a second to remind you guys that it's the stupid things that will get you, so just try to be safe. Anyways, I finished it up. Check it out. Dude, look how good this turned out, dude. I'm actually, stitches aside, super excited. Like, this just worked out so perfectly. So you guys can see now my idea with this shelf. It basically fills up this gap that I needed in height in order to get the solar panel here. So the panels fit perfectly right here beside the fridge. Lots of room above. I shouldn't ever contact that, which is perfect. And then my little secret hidden bar that you can't even really barely even see, at least not from here because it's painted black and it's like very thin that way, makes this like literally rock solid, dude. First slide on the fridge opens, clears everything, which is nice. Mind you, this is all the way forwards too. We could still push it all the way back. So like the idea is, if you want to plug your phone in, normally you would have to go like this, plug that in, plug this in, and then your phone ends up here. It's got to get moved to someone else in the fridge. It ends up kind of on the side here. It's somewhere weird, right? So now with this, pull out the drawer, put your phone and the cable on it, tuck that dude away, and it's good to go, dude. Like, how sick is that? And the best part is, I'm pretty sure, I haven't actually tested this yet, because I'm gonna run this on the plug from the back. Fridge is plugged in the back, slide this out, run it like this, and boom. Like, look how clean that is, dude. Honestly, it turned out just as good as I was hoping. I love the shelf, I love everything. It's got a little room here for the Jackery bag, which houses all the cords. I was able to put this trim piece back, even though it nearly killed me, to hide that a little bit. And we literally created a storage compartment right here for the panels. Now, I told you guys I tested this Jackery before, but I actually want to go ahead and just give it a little bit of work in this video so you guys can check it out, because it is the newer Jackery 1000. And obviously, I'm not an expert on any of this. This is a 45 watt fridge. When I run it in eco mode, so if I turn this guy on, I'm gonna need power. You guys can see right here, it's at 63, but the temperature is set to 41. So it's on eco mode, battery monitor doesn't really matter right now, and it's cooling. And it does draw about 45-ish watts to initially get it going. It kind of hovers around a lot, like you'll see it bounce around, but it always goes back to about the 45. But the thing like with fridges and setups like this, just for anybody that doesn't know, is like the fridge isn't always running. And once it's cold, it doesn't take that much power. I actually found in my testing when I was camping that weekend that this only used about 30 watts once it was already running. And it only came on like twice an hour maybe for like 10 minutes, like not long. And I charged 2, 4, 6 phones from about 0 to 70-ish because everybody was getting antsy. They wanted their phone back. They didn't want to leave it to get to 100. And this running for 2 full days, 48, almost exactly 48 hours, brought this guy down to 53%. So realistically, I should be able to get, I would even go as far as to say almost 5 days out of this, because the 6 phones was just other people's stuff. You know what I mean? Like if I'm just charging my phone and this fridge, it should last about 5 days. But what I need to know, let's say we turn on this, and we turn on this. I'm really curious to see the charging functionality. This is the one thing that's like the hardest to find. I feel like a lot of people think you need a lot of panels, and Jackery kind of makes it seem like you need a lot of panels in order to get like a quick charge. And I haven't set up a panel yet, so there's the inputs. think I may have to take the Jackery out in some spots. I guess it just depends like how my Jeep's facing, what kind of angle I have to work with. Plenty of sun coming down right here. Quick, easy. I really love the design of these things. And oh, dude, get out of here. They're 100 watt panels, but usually there's like some drop, right? Like you don't get 100 watts from a 100 watt panel. Mathematically you should, but the reality is you don't. So really cool. It's kind of brighter here. I don't know if you can see, there's like a ring going around the 50% showing that it's charging. And you guys can see actually everything right here is already starting to level out. This is about 36 watts. That's including charging my phone. And that's including running the fridge on cooling. Like it's still at 63 set for 41. And so the one 100 watt panel, the best we've seen is like 93. As the shade comes and goes, it kind of like dwindles back down and up. It won't die. Like the Jackery won't die on it. If anything, because the Jackery only goes on and off so often using something like a fridge, as long as you don't have a constant draw, like that one panel will charge more than you're using. I'll bust it open. Why not? It's like Christmas. I don't know why this has me so excited, but I love, like absolutely love the look of solar panels. It just feels so cool to me. So I got this boy over here because sometimes the shade of the tree over there is like flicking on that one. So two boys directly in the sun almost. And come back in here. We're pumping in 185 watts. Dude, right now it says 4.6 hours to charge. Also update, that charging time was for when the fridge is on. I just turned it off and the time dropped by almost an hour instantly. So when the fridge is only running for like 10 minutes, twice an hour, dude, this is actually gonna charge even faster than what I just said. That honestly to me is like unreal. So every 5th day, since this is at 50%, we need about 8 hours of sun, which is really good considering it's off-grid. But what's also really nice about this Jackery unit is it charges in 1.5 hours from 0 to full. I already tested it, like 1.7 hours is what they advertised, but did about an hour and a half. So even if you're just kind of bopping around or you're at a campground or something and you run to like some sort of building and you hijack their power for like an hour and a half, you can charge this thing fully up and keep going. And that is why I chose this 1000 plus, because it just has a little extra kick. It has a little extra oomph. It can get me that week of camping. And even if I just put the panels out for a couple hours a day just to keep it topped up, keep it feeding. And like I told you guys, right now, Jackery is actually having a really, really big sale. You can get some really good discounts. So use the link in the description down below. It's not an affiliate link. I'm just trying to get you guys over there while there's a sale. It's a really good one. You don't want to miss it. And that is kind of it. Be careful with your knives. Before I let you guys go, today's challenge to end this video is to just continue to work with what you have. I feel like I always have people coming over and telling me, oh, you need this, or you need that, or you should upgrade this, or people will see me use tools and videos and be like, dude, get a new blank. You should be using this. You shouldn't be using that. The fact is, okay, all these people are always telling me what tools I should be using and how I should be doing stuff. Yet I'm the one doing stuff. Not in like a cocky way, but you know what I mean? Like, sure, maybe my whatever tool is like 30 years old, but it works. And I'm using that tool to run my business, YouTube. Okay? I don't need a new tool. I'd rather save that money and invest it wisely. For all of you guys that only have whatever you have, life's not about having something better than everybody else or being as good as everybody else or everybody else who are people at home on the internet who don't even own the things they're telling you you should own. So just remember that, take that with, you know, a grain of salt, and just don't feel bad or stressed or like you need something that you don't. I promise you don't need it. You're just fine with what you have. And if you've seen my channel from the beginning, you know damn well you can make anything happen with whatever you have, because I'm the definition of that. So that is all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys are stoked. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out and stay committed.